Welcome back here once again, everyone. Now, 2022 was a banner year for woke garbage. We know 2021 had some pretty iffy parts to it, but 2022 was seriously a year where a lot of these nutcases tried to run rampant with their woke garbage, and it failed spectacularly. As we entered into 2023, I said, let me take a look back after I found this article here from Bounding into Comics, where it says the most hilarious woke pop culture fails of 2022. Now, a lot of these fall into what I really cover, which is entertainment and stuff like that. So I'll focus mostly on those. The ones I don't know about, on ones I do know about, but I don't focus on. I try to not get too deep into that. But let's take a look at what it is they have to say, and I'll give my views on it then. While 2021 was a smorgasbord of woke insanity, and unfathomable stupidity, 2022 ended up being a turning point, which finally put the radical movement fully on its heels. People from all sides of the political spectrum banded together, at least unofficially, to stem the tide of left-wing extreme radicalism, which had soured and permeated the cultural sphere. Yeah, I mean, if we look at this picture they have here, right? This was something they were doing when they were trying to have like a bunch of drag queens going in schools and talking to children and having them dress up little boys or and it was disturbing. It was very, very disturbing, and they kept trying to run with this like this was something that you needed to be a part of, that you needed to have shoved down your throat. And no matter what they attempted to do, it could be seen just how pathetic and ridiculous this garbage was. Let's get into this now. There were a few things there, but let's take a look at this. First one, Top Gun Maverick embarrasses every woke movie, and yes, it did. In a time when they had people say that, oh, people don't like this movie because of that, and they're going for this movie because of this, and everybody's a bunch of hoes and bunch of is and this and that, and all kind of the other. You understand me? All I have been saying, many others have been saying, and the general public has been saying time and time again, is that they just want good movies with solid stories, good entertainment, and they will come. They will enjoy these movies. But no, they didn't want to give them that, and then they wanted to blame everybody else for it. But then along came Top Gun Maverick and shattered all of that nonsense. Let's read this. In a sea of drab, uninspired, lifeless, left-wing drivel came Top Gun Maverick, a surprise hit that sought to capitalize on the iconic and timeless success of the 1986 original and succeeded. Yeah, because give me my Top Gun, that is came out in 1986. You understand me? That is over 30 years ago. Right? And Tom Cruise came back to play this role. Right? And it was a hit, a massive hit. Tom Cruise returned to the role that helped make him famous while stripping the film down to its most basic and functional components. That meant no political pandering. That should be an essential in any movie. No lecturing. Exactly. I don't want to go to a movie and have you screaming at me that, listen, you're supposed to like this or else. No identity politics. Well, that should say it on its own. And no racially diverse, divisive content. Exactly. It's not racial to say, listen, you shouldn't, if you're pushing these things in and it doesn't make sense, that's not racial. Because if I'm watching a movie about a time period set in Africa, hundreds if not thousands of years ago, and I'm seeing Chinese people, Indian people, white people, and I'm seeing two men in a corner dragging up talk, I'm going to ask, what the hell is this? It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make me racial or some kind of homophobic. That it's just common sense. Top Gun Maverick cast both men and women in roles that felt authentic and likable, and kept a large percentage of the original's free-spirited action drama appeal. The recipe was one of success to the tune of nearly 1.5 billion in ticket sales. Yeah, it was a massive hit. And what they also did, they mentioned the action. It wasn't a bunch of CGI thing. They actually had them filming with actual jets and thing, actual fighter jets flying. They were filming that to get the action and the actual aerial sequences. And people loved it. That's all people want. Good stories without your woke pandering garbage. That's all. Or this level of astonishing success came at a time when the go-to excuse for woke cinematic bombs was fear of COVID-19. Yeah, because even though I won't say that COVID-19 and they did close up, something okay, fine. But when they open back up and you put out good movies, people would come. You put out crap. Nobody's coming. Nobody's going. Said woke bombs included Disney's Lightyear over, but I reviewed that. It was terrible. The cringy female-centric action dot the 355. That was garbage. Did I review that also? Total garbage. The gay rom-com rose. Never even saw that. I heard it was nonsense. And the LGBTQ theme kids film Strange World, another bit of garbage. Halo series, thanks on arrival. Well, okay. They did everything wrong with this Halo show. Everything wrong with it. I watched one episode of it and that was enough for me. I was out. They had Master Chief taking off his helmet more times than most people. Most people going to the bathroom on one given day. That was it. Did everything that made Halo, which was good in the video games. You could have taken that and just translated that into the show, but no. You didn't care about that. You decided to have Master Chief take off his helmet, made the show about some other Asian girl doing something and the other kind of stuff, and then to top it all off, at the end, you basically had Master Chief dying and Cortana using his body, like wearing his skin like some kind of weird thing to move around and shoot. And it was just stupid. That was what it was. It's absolutely stupid. Moses Ingram, the real Star Wars Obi-Wan. Okay, I reviewed every episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and one question has permeated my mind. One question that remains. Despite how bad Obi-Wan the series was, despite how they set out to ruin the character, how they basically made Luke Skywalker a forgotten thing in it, tried to prop up Leia as some annoying little 40-year-old woman stuck in a 10-year-old girl's body. All of these things were totally ridiculous. But the one thing that honestly remains steadfast, the one question that remains steadfast when it comes to Obi-Wan Kenobi is, what the hell was the point of Reaver? What was the point of it? Moses Ingram's portrayal of Reaver was terrible. She wasn't even a one-dimensional character. She was just angry black woman. That was it. Nothing else. Nothing. No depth. No nothing. That was just her entire character. Angry black woman. They even tried some ridiculous nonsense. People were sending all kind of racial remarks to her online, which we've never seen any of. The only ones that I saw were people who had genuine concerns that would say that, listen, your character, your portrayal of the character is terrible. That's not being racial, that's not being toxic, that's just being honest. And even though you had good old Ewan McGregor coming out trying to save it, it didn't matter. Moses Ingram in Star Wars made no sense. You basically tried to put off as some kind of villain and then tried to have the most ridiculous redemption arc possible that still made no freaking sense. And in doing so, you completely destroyed the continuity of Star Wars. And for some reason, you were proud of yourselves. Idiots. Rose goes belly up. Didn't even see it, thought it was nonsense, not even went and what up. What is a woman sends the left into a tailspin? No. When Matt Walsh did this whole what is a woman thing, where he went around different places trying to get people's impression of what is a woman, all kind of thing. The left freaked out because why? You all want to identify as everything under the sun. And he made a documentary showing genetics and proof of everything of what is a woman. You all want to go around say that, men could identify as women, men could look at all kind of garbage nobody cares about. He made this documentary and they had a problem with it because why? It spits in the face of what they're trying to do, which is make every god awful thing that they want to do acceptable, even though you have absolutely no proof to back it up. And he brought proof to back up what he's saying, and you had a problem with that. Meghan and Harry alienate everyone. Okay, let me just take a moment. When I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but when Meghan Markle married Prince Harry, everybody was okay and everyone was happy on the other. Then she started making comments about how the royal family are racist and all kind of stuff. I don't know about it. That's them business one than the other. Then you went on Oprah and said that, you all just wanted to live a quiet life away from the spotlight and all kind of thing, which you decided to double down on by having numerous celebrity appearances, doing a Netflix series that bombed hard and continuing to push an agenda. So clearly you didn't want to be away from it. You just wanted everybody to agree with whatever you were doing. I never even saw the documentary, don't even get to see that. It's just not my business anymore. They do what the hell they want to. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence was the epitome of putting your foot in your mouth and thinking that, nobody's going to tell you anything. She basically came out and made some statement and, she started off all strong. What they have here. Actress Jennifer Lawrence has said some incredibly stupid things in her time, including her insinuation that hurricanes were Mother Nature's wrath against Trump voters. Oh my God. I didn't even know that. Wow. She tried to walk that one back by claiming she was quoted out of context, which she absolutely was not. Nevertheless, Lawrence continues to stick her foot in her mouth here at every opportunity, seemingly by compulsion. Her latest mega gaffe occurred when she spoke on Variety's Actors on Actors series, where she claimed that she was the first bona fide female action hero. Wow. This is what she had to say. I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, nobody had ever put a woman in the lead of an action movie because it wouldn't work. Okay, because we told girls and boys can both identify with a male lead, but boys cannot identify with a female lead, the actress claimed. Oh my God. Online backlash was immediate, and millions piled on the well-deserved ridicule with hilarious and mean that a never-ending string of zigzag jabs to the point, however, it showcased Lawrence's irritating arrogance and astonishing lack of intelligence, not to mention ignorance of female action movie leads like Carrie Fisher, Sigourney Weaver, Mila Djokovic, Charlize Theron, Uma Thurman, and of course Linda Hamilton, to name but a few. Yeah, because I don't know. It's something like when Moses Ingram, about her Reva character, she said that she was the first black character in Star Wars. You have to wonder, I mean, what in God's name were you thinking? What? That's what she said. Whoopi Goldberg defends Adolf Hitler twice. Look, I'm not telling you what in God's name is it. Whoopi Goldberg put her foot in her mouth when she said that, the Holocaust wasn't about race, it was about man hatred of mankind, like that. People were pissed off. The review gave her a slap on the wrist, and then she came back. And then towards the end of the year, she came out and she came back out and doubled down on the statement again, just to try and make it worse. I think Whoopi Goldberg just needs to do what Whoopi Goldberg has to do, and just not talk about political stuff and just leave it the hell alone. That's all. Just leave it alone. Because the minute these people keep talking about their political views, they keep trashing them. So just leave it alone. That's all. I don't even know about this POC's climate change documentary. Things are not even going to touch on that, but I heard about it, but I don't have enough, so I know that, that. Okay, everybody's hating show She-Hulk, the most expensive troll in history yet. God awful garbage. Let me see what they have to say here. Long-time comic book fans knew exactly what was in store when Disney announced a live-action She-Hulk series for Disney Plus, which connected directly to the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. Phase 4, yeah, that should be, was plagued with problems since its debut. That's an understatement, primarily due to head honcho Kevin Feige's insistence on pushing radical feminism into every fiber of every production. How did that work out? Phase 4 is a total disaster. Good work, Kevin Feige. Therefore, She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, was almost a parody of itself on purpose. The hapless and incompetent writers clearly loathed the source material to such a degree that they purposely trolled fans. Yeah, in the actual show, in an attempt to exact revenge on the very people who pay their bills. That said, She-Hulk was simply a terribly produced show from top to bottom. Yeah, I mean, when you have writers who actually sit along and say that, they are happy to troll the fans, they laugh at the fans, and you would see these people spewing venom in every episode, you know how bad it was. You know how bad it was. I've done many videos that I covered every episode of it. You can check it out. Terrible, terrible show. Viewers began joking on social media as to what was worse, the cringe-worthy third-wave feminist vomit or the rotten CGI. Indeed, Disney blew a bundle on She-Hulk, supposedly spending $75 million on just 3 out of 9 episodes. That's nearly 30% more than what it cost to make the first Deadpool film, and they still screw that up. When the show inevitably bombed, the woke writers did what they always do, blame the fans. Yeah, it came like clockwork, yet convinced no one, especially since the majority of the supposedly gigantic audience for this kind of content never showed up to watch a single episode. She-Hulk was universally panned across the board, yeah, because it was nonsense. And for good reason. The entire point of the show was to troll long-time comic book fans, but it ended up leaving Disney with yet another massive financial loss at a time when they were already struggling in the wake of duds like Eternals, Black Widow, and Shang-Chi. The million-dollar question, as always, is how much money can a company lose before it snaps out of its old delusions? This is something I actually like. It. Targets of left-wing hate emerge on scale. They tried to go after Dave Chappelle several times and failed massively. They called to boycott the show. More people than anticipated showed up. They tried to cancel him online. They failed miserably. Lots of people went to his show, sat front and center with their face screwed up, and he used that for comedy, and people loved it. They even had some lunatic who tried to attack him on stage, and he got the hell beaten out of him. Dave Chappelle really did show the pretty whack job that, you know what, I'm gonna do what I do. Too bad for you. Yes, the also this show with Chris Pratt. What's the name of it again? Terminalist. They expected that to fail miserably because they didn't like Chris Pratt. Because why? He's a Christian and they had a problem with that. They tried everything to make this thing bomb and it was a massive success. When he goes to the show, these morons don't know the majority of what they must be doing at any time. They even went after J.K. Rowling. Because why? She had the audacity to say something against their whole, nonsense or the other. Let's read this part here. And finally, there's J.K. Rowling, hardly a right-winger by any standard, but brave and steadfast enough to fend off an enduring assault by radical leftists. Her stance on transgenderism earned an extreme amount of vitriol from the woke left to the point where she's now an outcast within her own Harry Potter universe. Nevertheless, Rowling refused to budge an inch and actually gained ground due to her bravery. Her book sales went up and she became more popular than ever to the majority of the population who knows what wokeness stands for and supports good entertainment with no political agendas thrown in, right? Henry Cavill exits The Witcher. When you decide to make a show and do everything wrong with it, a popular series, The Witcher is based off of a book series, is also video games, and Henry Cavill is the only person who seems to give a damn and is telling you, listen, this doesn't make sense. We need to stick to the source material. We need to stick to the source material, and we basically tell them, shut up and do whatever it is we want. After 3 seasons, he had enough. And he decided, you know what? I'm out. And then what? What did they do? They put out Blood Origins, which is the Witcher show that they originally wanted to make. And, they're setting up to find a way to possibly reboot it. But with Henry Cavill gone, a large number of their fan base is going to go. Netflix has done themselves a great disservice for this, and they are going to pay for it down the road. But now again, as I said, to Henry Cavill, right on, dude, you were right, and you were very well right to walk away from it. He also came back as came on and said that he was coming back as Superman, just for James Gunn to just turn around and say no, he's not coming back. We're gonna do our own thing. But Henry Cavill bounced back. He has his own Warhammer thing coming on. Yeah, that's what he's doing. What he has to do. Oh look, Frost kills G4 with a childish woke rant. Yeah, when you decide to go off about sexism in gaming, and decide to basically tell the fans, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace. That's exactly what they did. The numbers for G4 was never very good. But when you have people like Frost attacking the fans, Adam Sessler going off on crazy rants online, and then let's not forget, when you see somebody was going up to work at G4, was applying for a job at G4, revealed that they wanted that during the questioning period to get in there, they actually told them that you have to be willing to cancel Batman to work with them. It was doomed to fail, and Frost is lit the fire. Like I said, Frost is not 100% responsible for it, but about 80% of it, yeah. The rest is just because G4 was never going to work, because they refused to copy what made G4 great before and build on that. So they were doomed to failure. That was it. Oh God, the Rings of Power became Amazon's costliest mistake. How do you spend $1 billion and produce so much garbage that people actively were hoping it would just end? You changed characters that had no business being changed. Turned Galadriel into Gaiadriel. Tried to bring in a bunch of race-swapped elves and all kind of nonsense. And the thing about it is that even though they came out blaming the fans and calling them racist and all kind of thing, the fact is that the race swaps in it were not even what was the worst thing about it, The show was boring, ridiculous, pandering garbage that everybody knew was going to fail. I left after 3 episodes. There even was an exec who fell asleep watching it. That's to tell you how bad Rings of Power is. And the fact that they're setting up for a season 2 to even make it even worse. Well, of course, they were bound to lose everything that they had. Come on. Disney F's around and finds out. When you decide to come out as a company that is known as the family brand, try to come out as a Disney company, as the family brand, and say, listen, we are going to double down on the woke agenda. That's what we're going to do. We're going to double down on the woke agenda. We're going to double down on, and Disney came on and basically admitted that they had a gay agenda. And they started pushing it hard into everything. And as you see here, their stocks plummeted. And it's been getting worse and worse and worse because people don't care for this mindless dribble and want something better. Disney refuses to go back to being the family brand that people know and love, and they're just going to keep losing money because this is the shit that they keep putting out. In one of the few goodies that came out in 2022 was Eric July's I Sum #1. It made over $1 million in less than a week, and people are really looking forward to I Sum #2 and everything else that is going to come out in the Ripperverse, which is a comic book universe that he has created. He's decided to put his money where his mouth is and say, listen, the garbage that is being put out, I don't like it. I'm going to do something better. And that's what he's done. And people, of course, have a problem with it. But here we go, Eric July is doing his own thing, and I support him for that. So that's what we got in 2022 and what we'll see going forward in 2023. A lot of it is beyond hilarious and ridiculous, but they all did it to themselves, and all we have left to see is what's going to come out in 2023. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, you could hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell, notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.